Hello, buddy. Welcome back to Buried, an interactive story. I don't know. But, yeah, I remember that this was the last stuff, and I seem to always be picking majority, and, yeah. We're gonna begin with Chapter 3. It's been a little while since, I played this, so, nothing new should happen. Ah, control room. Make sure everything's running correctly, yeah? We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data to what is obviously the security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the operations center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks as if he'd forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There, he's hunkered down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is an emergency vault for where he got the rifle. I want to peer in the open vault, see what's in there. I peer over Marcus's shoulder. It's a vault he's opened. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's particularly filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a particular plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slips open. From the split second it's open, I see a scanned document and a colored photo. The photo shows a male corpse with the guts on the outside of its body, as if it's been turned inside out. There's also a massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder shut, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet-colored fluid, while rather pretty in color, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back at the motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Come on, I tell him. But he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I saw the first aid kit over to him and going to scramble to his side. Between the struggle with the rifle upstairs and arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggled to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as a dried blood holds in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods, it doesn't seem to care. Pull the shirt off gently. Lift the shirt off gently, and it makes a sucking sound. So much blood that the moisture tries to keep the shirt pulled to him. Dennis lets out a little moan, but seems to relax, in spite of his injuries. The shirt fully removed, the extent of his injuries become more clear. His wound is more visible now, although it's particularly hidden by the blood that was started to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I took over Marcus hopefully and asks, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says, "sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much help anyways. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze without the kit and wipe as much of the blood as possible. As I get away from the wound. On the side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark, and I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start with. Besides, I've turned inside the tools for it. It's in the kit. Wait, I don't see the tools inside of it for a kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me, and he looks imperative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says, hopefully. How bad does it look? You think I'll live? It's really bad, Dennis. Alright, so since Marcus is so interested in the monitors, have him look at the monitors because he might see a threat near us or a threat in the building or the underground facility. And I also wanted to point out Clem from The Walking Dead kind of did the stitches real easy. And I was going to say do it, but then I realized that it said that there was no tools for stitching. Looks really bad, Dennis. Well, don't sugarcoat it, Dennis says. He looks defeated, but not really surprised. I keep quiet because I feel like I've already said enough. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound and bind it with medical tape, and then reinforce it with a secondary layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do, Dennis says. I'm a goner, so it's a waste of time. His whole body deflates as he says this. Maybe I should have been a little more encouraging, but I didn't see the point in lying to him. Finally, I patch up the bruises on his head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. I look back to Marcus, and he's looking back at us in deep in thought. My eye is starting to really swell up from where he kicked me earlier. Maybe I shouldn't have let him off so easy. Are these first aid kits all you have in this facility, I ask him? If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I noticed then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now. Just slight changes to demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that has frightened more than he already was before. What is it, I ask? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me or the truth. Come on, spit it out, or... I want to look at the monitors myself. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the monitors behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed before. After a few moments, I see a few things that even I can comprehend hidden from the complexity, or the complex information on most of the screens. On one screen I see, looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath. It reads, "Unexpected power failure, foreign entity." Another message is trickling along the bottom of the black screen. It says, "Safety locks on. Level 3 contamination doors engaged. Override? Question mark. I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway where we were a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I didn't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. Oh dear God. From just off the screen I see what I think to be a human body, but is bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs, torso, and whatever else have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What happened to what's wrong with the systems? What happened is more of what I'm looking for. I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy just must have happened in the last minute or so. What the... I ask. There's something still happening? And we still in danger? We still in dangers? He turns away, clearly fearing he's already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fears spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site, the equipment. It's unmistakable. It's unmistakably mine. I can't even see my truck. Something like a fury starts and rises up in my gut, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment I consider just tearing up into him. A few punches and shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers and I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more. Answers or asking calmly or... Question him calmly or aggressively. Well, he's gonna be feared. He's gonna not like us. We have the rifle, keep in mind. As much as I like to question bad cop or good cop, aggressively would basically make the our friendship basically fall apart. This is a game, keep in mind. I would much rather have him open up and to tell me more about this facility. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on my crew? My anger is prodding at me and I've held it back. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It's part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because we were working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked Dremel smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on a government land. It's shy, but about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. What? So even if we wanted to intervene, keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I asked. He shakes his head and exhales, like it's obvious the cameras have bird eye view. I can't see faces. We check the bodies and names. My camera. I'm not in my camera. I'm not in the middle of my camera. This is a problem. Keep it calm, keep it chill. So since you have all this surveillance, do you know where the rest of my crew is? I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you were on site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked, though. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know, he says. He says this casually, like it's not important. Well, are they inside the facility, I ask? You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we are being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. I like the way how we always have the option, but like, what's the point? If you're gonna go and calm, you don't just immediately lighten the tone, or not lighten, you darken the tone. What do all these people do here? I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know everything, probably very little, but what I do know is that it is more than just Black Ops. What does that mean, I ask? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all. But I don't want him to know about that. You said there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? Shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points on the screen that is informed of the unexpected power failure and cringes. If this power failure was not connected in time, there's no telling. Or not corrected in time, but they're here in the facility somewhere, right? Hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way that he's talking in riddles. I don't... Oh, God, Dennis says. I look over at him. Over and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor and closest to him. What? I asked. Simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I looked at the monitor to see the logging site, but more specifically, I see an overturned dozer and the legs sticking out from under it, wearing work boots, right where I left him, Tony. The fact of his death seems abstract, almost, like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in a shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is just a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize that it's the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone... What was it? Let me think. Yeah, it's a good thing I told him, because he would have found out anyways because of the monitor here. I gotta ask Dennis. Dennis is #1 priority. He's the guy that I've been with this entire time. It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus in motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door and is still holding the rifle in my hand. I don't know if the guts is actually use it if needed. Okay, if I had the guts. Final look back at Dennis. I run into the second level hallway. Continue. Ooh, what's this place? This place looks interesting. Only 16 minutes in. That's not bad. Marcus follows. There's still a fear in his eyes, but it's also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I noticed that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are now all on. The hallway is abandoned with numbered yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see a fleeting motion of something dark cutting quickly to the left, so down the corridor. I'm losing my breath. There, I say quietly. Oh, oof. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blaze by the command center just a few minutes ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was first, armed and scared. We have a gun, so either of these options could work, but I want to shout at them. Get them. Hey, stop! Who's there? I get no response, and I'm unsure if I should be relieved or upset about this. The last person we met nearly killed me with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there and about 10 feet away. She was a reddish blonde hair and small mosey build. She looks terrified and is very shaken. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running, scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently, and then looks to my rifle. I'm not going to use it. Now, how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophe event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back at the command center who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what happened? Marcus asks. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says, but there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened, and he trails off, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things in the security monitor, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics. Oh man. Amy says, I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to the conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. What has you so scared? I have the rifle, so I need to know. Amy looks at me with her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyways? She asks. I quickly give her my story, a logger stranded in the woods following a particular explosion at a logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers. Yeah? She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident, and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all of the questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Ask about Dennis. Dennis needs help now. He's basically dying. I decided, despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you'd have to find Colonel Barksadale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everyone else? I asked. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone has struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed, and some were just... I don't know. They disappeared right in front of my eyes. Or right in front of me. Disappeared. Yes, she answers. They were here 1 second and gone in the next. She snaps her fingers together for an effect. Gone? Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't know even that much. An entity? But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere, Amy responds. How could you not know? Do you have full security access, I ask? No, wow. No, I have access to mostly everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do, I ask. I'm not sure, she asks, wiping her tears away, but if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale? Barksdale, I'm gonna call him Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he, I ask. Down on the 3rd level in the hangar. Then let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says again. Looking at the rifle in my hands, why not? Like I said, something came through, and when the power went out, there's several of them, all roaming the 3rd floor. Doesn't matter, let's move. What came through is a better question. Don't just skip it. All I know is that the others refer to them as entities. Amy shudders as she recalls the horrors that she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life, and behind me I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on those monitors. It's crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find Barksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus says. I'm sticking with you. If you want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy said, but Barksdale's on the 3rd floor, and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions, and in the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me getting close. I give Amy a questioning look, and she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Look, like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Dennis is gone, isn't he? Way to the command center, and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get some help, I tell him, and then we're going to find our crew and get out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you took an hour to get my shirt off earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay with him? I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands on his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Are there any of them on this? Any of them on this floor? I'm not sure, she says, but they are down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but he nods his argument, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back out into the hallway, I look back at the monitors. I took a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site and feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors showing live feeds of the facility security cams. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any sign of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension that exists between us is like a physical presence. Down the elevator. We're in the elevator now. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So you have plenty high clearance. You have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiments are we talking about? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that it is something of a relief for her to get some of it off her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there is any real viable science behind point-to-point instantation, like teleporting, I ask. Oh my god, Marcus says. I had no idea. I knew there was some weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me, Dennis says? I could tell that he wants to sound as if he is mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retained were detached and its intestines were on the... Oh, God. Oh, they tried to teleport somebody and they... Oh, that was not good. That picture is not nice. They teleported and just imagine the guy teleporting, and then all of a sudden he comes to the location that he's supposed to be teleporting at, and he's flipped inside out. Thanks for that picture from earlier. That picture from earlier that we saw was probably a picture of a guy who decided it would be a great idea to jump in the teleporter. I don't like that. Did you ever perfect it? Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made the same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only is its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. Transporting unknit. I know what both of these transported. You're basically just taking every single molecule, throwing it over, and then putting every molecule back. Or every atom, I don't know. We're going to go with unknit because I'm more interested in that one. Yes, deconstructed and translated through a space. Yeah, I called it. It's the only way we know how to do it right now, but the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the disconnection or deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we are deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly, Janice asks. Because there are many more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on. Oh, thought it was going to go somewhere. She explains there's some evidence that there is as many as 10. So when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask? Basically, and because of that, we are trying to get better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that are a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She speaks with an authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Is that what those creatures I hear? What was seen in those dimensions? Other words, other Tegmark universes where our laws of nature don't apply, she says. Not bothering to explain what that means. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports, Marcus asks. I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset. You guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I can't believe I wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all of this. I want to say that's incredible. I'll be honest. I want to say that's incredible. You're impressed by Amy's work. So this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for. He laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet. I've been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick in my leaking. Outside the elevators, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Whoa. I don't want to look like I am interested in taking control of this stuff. I'm just saying, like, wow. That's pretty neat. That's pretty neat. If it gets to, like, I hope this doesn't go to, like, people that don't deserve it. Bad people. Bad people. Okay, we actually get our first sight of blood in this. And dear lord, is this a huge confine. The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeable than that is all of the blood. My god, I've never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. They were more personal in this area when the experiment went haywire, Andy says. As if the explanation makes it all better. The research you all do down here had better be worth it, I say. We have to get moving or we're going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Back at Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Seeing the blood on the floor and the signs of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. I got gun. I go first. The four of us start walking ahead with me and lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks like 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they have been torn to shreds and are deserted. 2 of the bodies look as if they have been fused together. Ow. And the man looks to have had his legs welded through the floor. Oh, I can see this man's face. He died in abject state of horror. His mouth pried. Ah. 2 of the bodies seem to be fused together, and then the other one was, his leg was just straight welded into the floor. Ouch. I don't want to investigate them as much. We gotta keep moving. Simply too much. Worse than it is the fact that we have just started our journey through level 3. If it is worse waiting up ahead, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Dennis steps ahead of beside me when he speaks. His voice is soft and flat. What in the... what could do that to somebody, he asks. The things I saw, Amy says. Amy answers. They could be pretty easy. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think that she may have passed out a moment ago. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me, and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is keep going. We're gonna get ourselves killed if we stay behind, or rush right into death. Either one. We leave the grisly sight behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't just been destroyed. It's been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very material distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted in what looks like to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond this phenomena, there is a standard fire. What? It's a standard violence I was expected to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Here's my prediction. There's a small chance that nothing really happened. Or, well, no, not nothing really happened. There's a small chance that there is no monster here. There's a huge chance that the teleporter basically exploded on this level and caused everything to just combined. It's the simplest form. You had the two people who fused their faces together. You had the guy who was welded to the floor. You had machines stuck to walls. I want to go with that one, as much as it might scar her. I only caught a glimpse of it, she says, taking a deep breath. I was the closest to the exit, so I just started running. But it was like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. People's bodies just started twisting and turning. And the thing that did this, it looked like... She doesn't finish. She cuts off by some sound echoing the facility. It comes from behind us and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from the AMA radio, or the AM radio, but there is a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What is it? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them. Amy says, her voice at a whisper. One of the creatures. That's what they said. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I see that leaning against the wall, witching at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot the next thing I see. Anything between us and them? Not really, she says. None of the hallways are blocked off by security doors. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with new purpose in our step. We barely make it to another side of the room, approaching the dark hallway, when another high-pitched noise sounds out. It's been louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. We rival tightly as we head towards the hallway. Close, she says. It's just at the end of the hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul... Huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like something... I knew if I chose can we kill these things that we would hold. We would hold position and wait for them, which I almost don't feel like it's a good idea. I feel like running and gunning is a better idea. Well, that pipe it looks like it had a great old day here. Oh man. The small utility hallway is just well lit. It looks as if it was designed to only be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at Marcus as I asked the question, but he only shrugs in response. Which is true. He does not know. Why is this chapter taking literally forever to get through? She might know, he replies, pointing at Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says. But at the end there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hallway, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand at its end. Let it become more sparse and spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hall extends into the darkness. The hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. I continue further down, just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead. I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds further away, but not less demonic. Demonic? Okay, we're gonna go with demonic, because I can't say anything. How many of these things do you see? Dennis asks Amy. 3, but that's just what I saw. There could be more. What do they look like? Dennis asks. Like how my ex-husband was right when he said my job would kill me, Amy asks, before letting out a near hysterical giggle. Because I keep hearing him in my head. I mean, I'm sure he didn't imagine this exact scenario, but still. Heavy communist Dennis. I'd rather like to just find Barksdale, I comment. I start to walk forward, hoping to break out of the discussion. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. So time. We need to distance ourselves to get to the hangar fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydrochloric door set in the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks at me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it closed behind us to keep those things back. It was weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? Oh, she's talking to me. I'll have a harder time getting to us to the doors that are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangar now. Yeah, I say we go to the hangar first because you don't know if these things can phase through things. So shutting the door might not even be helpful at all. Open and run. No, I say to the group. With all the carnage back there, I doubt we can stop them. That's what I'm saying, Marcus agrees. It's Hall. Tries to speak up, but the rest of us are already running down the hallway. I speed towards the hangar doors, not even looking back to see how far Amy has fallen behind us. Oh no! Panic and hope are fighting within me. I can't stop myself from sprinting. The fact that another shrill sound elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost like they are calling out to one another. The door in the hangar is set up ahead like an entrance, some enormous labyrinth. Did we just leave Amy behind? Idiots. Oh, that door looks like it's a fun door. When I reach the hangar doors, I can sense the true sense of how impenetrable they are. The computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown, says Amy. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known the store was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the second floor, I ask? Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Do you hear those things? She asks. There's no way I'm going back towards them through the small hallway. If we want to get into the hangar, we have to go back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we'll need to go through the... I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You two go. You know your way around. Give Amy the gun. Marcus. Marcus is obviously experienced. I hand Marcus the rifle and he turns to go. Amy gives me a concerned look but follows along behind him. Once Amy and Marcus make it good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to have the wall to stand behind. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and an emergency kit in the maintenance room near the hangar doors, I asked? Yeah, I think so, Dennis says. Exhausted. Obviously, kick it down. What type of madman are you? You're gonna break something if you push it with your shoulder. Oh, wait. I didn't read it all the way. Yeah, I look ahead to see a door to my right that says maintenance. Might as well give it a try. Kick it. Just kick it. I give it a frustrated kick, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try again, but that's when I hear a dry choking sound from just down the hall. It's barely audible, but it's not my imagination. I first thought that it's one of the things, one of the monsters, but after calming my nerves and reassuring, it sounds more like a person. I think about how angry and on edge Amy was when she turned to leave, as well as how scared Marcus had looked. Alarm bells sound in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hall away from the hangar doors. Stay here. I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into the maintenance room. Where are you going? I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. Okay. The only reason I gave Marcus the gun was I didn't get the fact that he was scared. If I knew Amy was confident, I would have given her the gun. Well, that just sounds like a good old X door. That X door is a great door. As I enter the biochem room, started walking between the massive silos. I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of the halls up ahead. I think I hear something, a skittering noise, like something moving quickly. I would head so fast that I almost trip over two people in the life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense, none at all. Marcus is on the floor with Amy pinned beneath him. He has a rifle at her throat, pushing down on the floor, and is choking her with it. Her face is turning purple, and her eyes look like they might pop in her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway, but acts as if he's doing is perfectly normal. Marcus! I would like to yell at him, but I want to know why first. Marcus says nothing. He looks up at me, confused, hate in his eyes. Remy's choking, his ice-like gaze. Marcus's eyes is clear. He's not Marcus. Stop him. He's not Marcus. I bring my fist down on the arc across the bridge of his nose, aiming with a cracking sound. He cries out and he falls to the ground, looking at me if he doesn't understand why I'm punching him. On the floor, Amy clutches her neck. I start to fear that I was a moment too late, just as I see that the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Go for the rifle. Rifle's god tier. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step towards it, wobbling a bit from my punch. I dive for it. When I hit the floor, it feels like a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall on it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle to the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in the ribs, knocking the breath out of me. He yells at me, "By killing her, I'm saving us all. This is her fault." I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just shoot her rather than just strangle her with a rifle? The answer is simple. We would have heard the gunshot, and I, or those things, would have come running. I wanted to kill her quietly. And then what? What he done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When he first came upon Marcus, he had held a gun on us. I had been so relieved to see another human being that I had underestimated just how unhinging he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor, and start wrestling for the possession, but I'm confident that I'll come away with it. And as we struggle, he starts itching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I don't want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I prefer the bullet to go, especially the rim of the floor. I'm gonna force the muzzle on Marcus, dude. Marcus is betraying all of us. I grunt as I push the muzzle towards his face, realizing he's literally looking down at the barrel of the gun. Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back towards him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter, and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. I was them that did this. What? It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and wish I could help her. I realize that she is managing to draw a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself to sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under the scenery. You don't know what it's like to. He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping to the floor, looking like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully and repeat. I shoot him or I try to dodge. He's gonna just dodge. His aim is poor and his strength is failing, so I dodge him easily. Okay. I don't want to have a gunshot go off and alert those creatures to where we are. Make a hard jab of the butt of the rifle, striking him in the chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. He crumbles for a moment and then goes to his knees. He rolls in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. Master's calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everyone involved, he wails from the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me from stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver his threat. I raise the rifle again. Nope. But I'm not violent, man. Leave Marcus to sit there. Just like when I could barely shoot earlier as he was coming at me. I can't bring myself to deliver the final shot. I ignore him and lean down to Amy. You okay, I ask? She nods slowly. Have to go, she says, her voice raspy. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We started forward and then I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors, I say. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You need to come with me up to the command center now. We'll be back for him soon. You're all dead now anyways, Marcus shrieks. If they don't get you, I will. He laughs maniacally after saying this, hooting like a madman. As if in response, a high-pitched noise tears through the hallway. I seem to feel it in my bones. We're following its noise now, Amy says, her voice still weak. She takes off away from Marcus, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. I follow her. As we move out, I hear Marcus slowly push himself off the ground and stumble off, slipping behind between the tanks and disappearing. We start running, and after a few strides, another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of the recording I've heard from whale songs. I dare look behind us and see something as entered the doorway. I came through it. It's large, bright, but it was too far away to see clearly. And as I have no interest of seeing it, whether pulling the hydrochloric door would have helped, I'm not sure. But seeing how close they are, I regret not doing it. I speed up a few steps to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously by pushing on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely the result of Marcus's attack. This makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring down at her as he tried to deliver her to death. How she's still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry, but Marcus, I say, It's not your fault, she interrupts. When you handed him the gun, you didn't know he would use it on me. I just hoped we can find a way to survive this mess. We'll be fine, don't worry. I'm not sure, she said. I'm not so sure, she says, eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. Now I'm more concerned with the monstrosity that is on our heels. Amy furiously slaps the button to open the doors and slide open slowly. Feels like it's taking forever. We squeeze in before the doors are opened all the way. Amy actually falling to her knees, screaming. I ready the rifle to watch helplessly as the doors finally reach their full opening capacity. As they hold open, I see a large shape floating towards us. Like white glow outlines impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape. That's also entered the biochem room, and a third one breaks away. It's the direction of Marcus. That is the direction. One breaks away, taking a quick right, and moves with eerie speed. Let it go after Marcus. Honestly, the thought of them hunting him down doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator doors over and over, but they stay open. I want to hide, because if I open fire, the third one's going to come rushing out, and I want him to go after Marcus. Amy and I slide ourselves against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen, but I can't help but peeking around the corner, hold my rifle steady, ready to fire. That's when I see them in a clear light in the front, in the first time. I can see their features, their shape, their colors, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They are gray and white, and seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but use them as to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so, but I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of them moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's almost more than their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if the space within the room has reshaped itself for their existence. That particular effect on the air makes their movement seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in a unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle to see if my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. And I'm gonna have to be choosy. Save the ammo, my guy. You decided to conserve your ammo. Yep. They keep advancing even though I know the doors may not close in time. I managed to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if the gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creature wash against the other side of the door, making the electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall and elevator door, but for some reason, they can't get all of the way through. Amy screams at this, curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to my rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits in the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. End of chapter 3. That was a long chapter. The blunt truth. You and 41% told Dennis his were grim. Yeah, of course so. Slow them down. 65% sided with Marcus and didn't pull the hydraulic door. Who to trust? 31% yeah, of course. Well, Murder or mercy. An hour later. Wow. I'm surprised I gave the gun to Marcus because I was like, he probably has better experience than these people down below who are more focused on doing scientific experiments. And here I thought Marcus was a good decision. I guess not. He ran away. And I gotta tell him the blunt truth. Dennis, I mean, he's still alive. Hopefully Dennis managed to make the maintenance door grab the gun and hope that Marcus doesn't. When I saw that Marcus snuck between the first thing I thought was, oh, he's gonna go back to Dennis and kill him because we stopped him, and he'll think that Dennis is part of all of this. And I'm kind of scared for Dennis now. Probably should have shot Marcus when I could because Marcus is probably a Dur and decides he's gonna kill everybody he sees, but kind of late for that now. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, chapter 3. This one's a long one, almost a full hour in total it took me to get through this. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. My voice is dying now, ever since reading. Oh dear God, my voice it wants to die on the inside. I've been going through all of this for a while now, and my voice I'm trying to correct everything, make everything right. My throat ain't doing it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you guys next episode. Whatever, mate. Bye bye.